from the country HR head, Unilever Nepal, trainer and mentor, Mr. Aniket Preetish, who's all set to take over this floor. Mr. Preetish is a passionate HR professional with extensive knowledge and 10 plus years of experience in human resources, ladies and gentlemen. And he has helped manufacturing units transform into vibrant competitive entities through employee engagement, diversity and inclusion initiatives. As an HR professional, his core skills lie diversified in corporate training and coaching, drafting policies for organization, compensation and benefits, employee engagement, employer brand, performance management, and well-being. Having said this, please join me to invite up on stage and hand over this session to the moderator, the facilitator, the country HR head, Unilever Nepal, trainer and mentor, Mr. Aniket Preetish. So the floor is all yours.
Hello. छोड़ो कल की बातें, कल की बात पुरानी, नए दौर में लिखेंगे हम मिलकर नई कहानी. हामी हौं नेपाली, हामी हौं नेपाली. छोड़ो.
All of you to kindly take your seats. Thank you.
कल की बातें, कल की बात पुरानी, नए दौर में लिखेंगे हम मिलकर नई कहानी. Yes, sometimes in our lives we have to let go the past to embrace the changes. You know, when I read that 67% of CEOs feel that machines and technology is more important than humans, it amazes me, frustrates me. How can they even think like that? You know, technology has to be about amplifying and augmenting human potential. It is human beings whose ideas, creativity, talent, energy that make a difference to any institution, to any organization. To me, business is about people. People is the only sustainable, competitive edge that a business has because everything else can be matched. Being human is absolutely necessary to succeed in the next few decades in this increasingly unpredictable, volatile world. Our organization, Unilever, encourages people to be future fit and purpose-led. When you know your purpose and you know why you get out of your bed, why you do what you do, it gives you the energy, discretionary effort to have an even bigger impact. The three beliefs of our company is companies with purpose last, brands with purpose grow, and people with purpose thrive. To me, purpose gives you the anchor to be strong, to know what you need to do, even if the world around you is uncertain. It gives you the reason for why you are doing and what you are doing. And when you do that, you can thrive in this uncertain world. You can feel that you are embracing the changes that are coming to you. The fourth industrial revolution has been scary for people because it is all about technologies coming in and it's going to take away all our jobs and there's nothing left for us to do. I think what we should remember is that there is unprecedented change. We have to understand that our people and the way they behave and the way they think is what going to help us to be ahead of the curve and handle and embrace these unprecedented changes, to leverage these changes for the business and for ourselves. It means that we have to recognize the importance of people and everything they bring to the workplace even more centrally than we have ever done before. And this is the time where everyone needs to lead. We have to lead as entrepreneurs. We have to think that this is our business. We have to make the choices that any entrepreneur would do. We have to think with limited resources but big ideas and create a business that is ready for 21st century. So are you ready for embracing the change and be future fit, purpose-led, and understand the uniqueness of each individual working in your organization for identification of must not lose talent and develop levers around it? We are here for a group discussion, so it's not going to be a monologue. We have divided several groups, and before I go into the nuances of the group discussion, let us have on stage the commentator for this session. We have Srijana Gurung. May I welcome her with a huge round of applause and a bit of introduction. She is a human resource management and OD professional with over 16 years of experience in leading HR and OD in various international development organizations at national, regional, and global level. She is currently engaged with Plan International Nepal as HR and OD director. So we both will be introducing two topics to you all, and then we will be dividing the groups who will be working on these two topics. Each table will act as a group and they will discuss. So may I now invite Srijana to explain the first topic for this session.
So the first topic we have is, just a second, reskilling and upskilling workforce to future ready. And this is in context of continuous learning and continuous development. And I wasn't there yesterday, but in today's morning session also, we talked about the biggest change that is happening in current workforce. And we also talked about the great resignation. And historically, right now, we have the largest number of people leaving the organization than any other time in the history. And there are multiple reasons for that. And I think one reason for us to keep people engaged and retain people is to ensure that there is continuous learning. So we will distribute the handouts, and which will have the topic as well as several notes related to the topic. So you will get a chance to go through that topic. And for the next topic, I would request Aniket to introduce it.
So the first topic is about reskilling and upskilling your workforce in these changing times, okay? The second topic is about retaining talent at exceptionally competitive times. So what is the framework? Should we focus on retaining talent, or should we focus on identifying the top talents who are declared as must not lose for the organization? So what we are going to do, we will be giving you around 15 minutes to discuss among yourself. Each table will act like a company. You have to come up with a name of your group. And you have to identify one CEO who will be responsible to capture ideas from each table. There are 4 tables in a group. So, group number 1 is the front row, group number 2, group number 3, and henceforth, there are 6 groups. And it's a competition. Once your group discussion ends, we have given you certain handouts so that you have some idea what is the topic about, okay? After 15 minutes of the group discussion, each group gets 5 minutes each to come over here and to present to us. And there will be audience poll. We have a Mentimeter. So the audience will be rating on the overall performance of the group, as well as the three facilitators for the session. The third, Mr. Debashish, he's the HR head of Surya, Nepal. He's on his way. We will be giving our comments after each presentation, okay? So the idea of this is to engage you all after such a heavy lunch, and so that we only do not have to speak after that hefty lunch that we had. So all the best. Identify the name of your group or the name of your company. Identify the lead from such a big, large members who will be responsible to capture ideas from each table. The time limit is only 15 minutes for the initial discussion. And when you come to the stage, each group will get 5 minutes to present. First row, second row, third row, you have the topic of reskilling and upskilling. Subsequent rows, fourth, fifth, and sixth, you have the topic of retaining talent as these exceptional and critical times. So here, the 15-minute starts now. After that, we'll be straight on going to the presentation sessions. Thank you so much. Hi, please. Yeah. So, let me introduce you. Just a 1 minute over here. We have with us Mr. Debashish. I would hand over the mic just for your brief introduction. Yes.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My apologies to all of you for being late. I mean, that's the peril of the corporate world. Often, you can't time yourself. I'm extremely sorry, but glad to be here as a part of the session. And I'm looking forward to hear from all of you. I head the Surya Nepal HR. I'm here for last almost 7 years now. Before this, I was with ITC. And I had various stints in ITC over the last, it's almost 20 years now. And of that, 15 years I was with ITC and 7 years with Surya Nepal. Before that, I also had a stint with TVS Motors, as you all know. I mean, it's a bike manufacturing company, and with Tata Motors for a brief. I enjoy working in different parts of HR, especially in leadership development, training, performance management. And I believe probably we have huge potential, and how all HR professional can help each other to increase the potential of people remains the key. And that's where it intrigues me. So it's a pleasure being here. And I'm looking forward to this small group discussion. It's a new intervention. We are trying it for the first time. And when Mohanji and everybody discussed this thought with me, I said this is a wonderful opportunity, because most of the time it's one way. This is the only time when we can have a communication two ways, So it's an opportunity where you meet and really engage with each other to make the session even more engaging and even more enriching for all of you. So I'm looking forward to all of you, and I'm looking forward to hear from you. Over to you, Aniket. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Debashish. Now quickly get into your groups, and your time starts now. You will be given 15 minutes. Post that, it will be a sequential presentation starting from group 1. 3 rows have the topic named as reskilling and upskilling, and the subsequent 3 rows, they have the topic as retaining top talents in your company in these critical times. the people over here can join any of the group. There are 6 groups sitting in front of you. Any of the group you can join. Last 3 minutes. Invite the first group for their presentation. So each group must have given the names. Time's up for your group discussion. Come back, make it a very lively event as you are also the panelist in which you will be judging. So each one of you will get the opportunity to judge. We will start with the presentation of group 1. I will invite the panelists to sit over here. May we get some notepads? So you may now stop the group discussion because now you are the judges. There will be winners who will be declared per topic, 1 winner, which means there will be 2 winners. So since you are the judge of this event, just 3. So can I have the attention of the group to this side? And may I now invite the first group, and may I get the name of the group? Reshma. May I get the name of this group? Idea? Okay. So I'm inviting this first group to the stage, which is named as Idea. So the group members who will be presenting over here, may I now have you on stage with a round of applause. And make sure that you listen to their presentation because you will be the ones who would be judging. I would require support for keeping the time. 5 minutes for keeping the time, the presentation, and there'll be a 2 minutes session which will be on feedback from the facilitators and any question, if any. So may I now invite Team Idea, Zordar Taliyan ho jaye for this team. So just your name, and you are presenting Team Idea, and you start the presentation. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Neeraj Neupane, CEO of Idea, this new project we just developed here. And he's my IT head. He will be supporting for our technical part. So,
I'm Pravesh Shrestha. So we are representing the company Idea. We came up with the name Idea because we were with the group from different sector. One was IT and another was development sector. And we have economic financial sector, so we kept it E, and A was for automobile sector. So we came up with the name Idea.
What we do is we develop an application for information technology for development sector, automobiles, and financial services. What happens, see, for any like phone loan, my team member is there from phone loan also. If any application comes in, we summarize what are the key skills required for this development. So based on that requirement, we identify the skills. Skills mapping happens, and the required skills required for that kind of development, that application development. So that gap, we fill by our internal training team or external training team. For external, we have one IT company in Bangalore. So all shortlisted, see, we have only developers team. So all those developers who need this kind of additional skill required for upskilling, or you can say reskilling. So those team will go there in Bangalore. So they will come with 3 months, 6 months training with all required skill sets. So that way, it happens every time whenever new applications comes in. So that process will get again, means that process will have to complete it. So from technical part, my IT head, technical head will complete.
So I'll just point out what our CEO have told as well. So we have the 3 steps for the upskilling and reskilling. So being an IT company, we have the different technologies that should be used. It can be HTML, Java, React Native, .NET, PHP. So we have different sector. We can different tech team. So we will develop the product accordingly. So for that, we have pointed 3 things. So initial, we will do the skill mapping and gap identification. Then we will do internal and external resource identification. Then we will have timeline setup and execution. This will be the main key points that will help us to develop our team for reskilling and upskilling.
Okay, for any kinds of such application development, please let us know. We are here. Our team is here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Stay on the stage. Now it's the feedback time or any questions. Yeah.
Thank you so much, IDEA team. And to respond, or anybody from, apart from the 2 of you, anybody can also comment. So first thing, I really like the name. And when you say idea, it didn't click me much because we talk about ideas a lot. It's a word that we hear very, very often. But when you explained, it really made sense. And you based on the sector of your participants, the participants that you have in your team, you put together the name. So it sort of reflected a very inclusive name. What I would say is I like the process mapping, the 3 steps that you spoke about. But there was also a focus on training. And when we say reskilling and upscaling, yes, the first thing that comes in our mind is training. But apart from that, we have this 70, 20, and 10 technique, where 70% of skill you learn is by doing, by experience, and then 20% through mentoring, and then 10% through training. So usually when we talk about rescaling or upscaling, people think, oh, it's a training, you have to go outside. But majority of the time, when you come back from the training, there's hardly anything you bring back. So what I would say is let's emphasize on the job training and enhancing your skill through experience. Thank you.
So shall I respond to this one later? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so what we have planned as while training as well, so we have kept the standard line that we are funding our team members who will pass for the training, and they have to rearrange the training and share the knowledge to their team member. So we have set the standard of 70%, and so if they are passed, then company will fully sponsor them. So in that way, we will just add up our team member with the knowledge, and they will also share the other ideas to the team member. That is compulsion when they come back from the training.
Great, great. Just one small point. Wonderful name, as my colleague was saying. Just few points I wanted to add. It's not necessarily a question. It might be a feedback. So take it in the way of a feedback, more from a group learning perspective, not so much from an evaluation perspective. See, one part, when you start off with any upskilling or reskilling part, the most important part is to identify what and who we are going to train, or who require upskilling and why. Is the technology changing? That's why. Am I going to get into a new field? Is that the reason? Am I going to wanting to adopt a new strategy? is that the reason for my upskilling? Or I'm looking at future, and that's why I want to do my upskilling. The most important part when you start off with skilling is to identify a strategy in terms of identifying who will take what. So need identification becomes one of the most critical point in developing a strategy and deploying it. What you spoke about very nicely is about the process, how you're going to do. Possibly it might have been very, very, interesting if one of the point on the need analysis part comes into picture, and B, on the evaluation part comes into picture, which you have just explained. That's a small feedback which I have. But overall, great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
In the interest of time, I'm cutting it short over here. Thoda energy ke saath taali agar baja dijiyega. This is the first group. Thank you so much. You can have your seat. May I request all of you to take out your mobiles and go to Mentimeter. The code should come on your screen. It is 75941483. Go to menti.com. There are 5 rating scales, either 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Please rate. These scores will help us. Panelists as well, the audience poll combination, the winners will be declared on that basis. We will wait for around a minute. Okay, 5 people have responded. You have quickly, please give your response. Make it participative. It's our HR meet. So all of you must give the rating to each of the group. And it's open to the first group as well. So around 22 response we have got. Another 30 seconds and we will close the poll. And please do take a screenshot at the end of the poll. We have got 32 responses till now. That's fantastic. Keep up the spirit high. Another 15 seconds before we close the poll. Very nice. So with 50 responses, and now the time's up. 51 responses we have got till now. You can take a screenshot now. Well done to the audience. Zordar taaliyan ho jaye. And now, without wasting any further time, I'm inviting the group 2 who will be presenting on the same topic, which is reskilling and upskilling. And with a very interesting name, they are, let me invite on stage the CEO and team members from HR Private Limited. But hold on. The term HR, they have given Halka Ramailo. Halka Ramailo Private Limited. HR Private Limited. Let us have you on the stage. Exactly 5 minutes for the presentation. And the next 2-3 minutes on question. You may introduce your name, the name of the company, and start with the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melisha. I am the CEO of HR Private Limited, Halka Ramailo Private Limited. Our company nature is we create digital content, quirky and fun content, because our name is Halka Ramailo, apparently. So breaking down the upskilling and reskilling, we have broke down to 3 major points. We have broke down the upskilling and reskilling, why we are doing it, how we are doing it, and when we are doing it. So let me start with when we are doing it. Because we feel like, learning is a gradual process, it should be embedded in the culture itself. So our first process while hiring someone, onboarding मा नै हामीले चाहिँ अलाइनमेन्टहरु अलाइन गरिदिन्छौं हाम्रो चाहिँ लर्निङ कल्चर छ यसमा चाहिँ लर्निङ कल्चर कसरी छ भनेर हामीहरु डिफाइन गरिदिन्छौं हैन सो अनि यतिले मात्र पुग्दैन अनबोर्डिङ भइसक्यो हामीहरुमा एक्जिस्टिङ स्टाफहरुले चाहिँ हामीले कसरी यो चीज चाहिँ कल्चरमै एम्बेड गराउँछौं भन्दा हामीले चाहिँ टाइम एन्ड अगेन रिफ्रेशर्सहरु दिइराख्छौं one to one मा पनि we try to include this in a whenever we do one to one So why we are doing this को कुरामा चाहिँ हामीले कुनै पनि पर्पस सेट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो चिजलाई चाहिँ हामीले कुनै पनि अब्जेक्टिभ सेट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ पर्पस दिनुपर्छ भन्ने अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङमा चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ यो चिजलाई इम्प्लोइ मोटिभेसन र रिटेन्सन लाई केटर गर्यौँ अर्को भनेको चाहिँ वेन एभर अपस्किलिङ एन्ड रिस्किलिङ टेक्स प्लेस ग्रोथ प्लानिङ र सक्सेसन प्लानिङ गर्न पनि इजी हुने भयो हामीहरूको लेबर सर्टेज टाइम एन्ड अगेन बिकज वी आर अ कन्टेन्ट क्रिएटर अनि हामीलाई क्रिएटिभ मान्छेहरू चाहिरहने हुन्छ सो त्यही अनुसारको स्किलको लागि चाहिँ हाम्रो लेबर सर्टेज मिटिगेट गर्नुको लागि हाम्रो इम्प्लोइ सर्टेज चाहिँ नहोस् भन्नुको लागि पनि हामीहरू यो गर्छौँ लर्निङ एन्ड डेभलपमेन्ट अगेन लर्निङ इज अ ग्रेजुअल प्रोसेस यु क्यान नट लर्न वान थिङ एकै दिनमा सबै चिज सिकिँदैन सो लर्निङ एन्ड डेभलपमेन्टमा पनि विल फोकस दिस इज अल्सो अगेन आइड लाइक टु हाइलाइट दि पार्ट कल्चरवाला सो लर्निङ कल्चर पनि यसले चाहिँ गर्ने भयो र मेजर भनेको चाहिँ इम्प्लोइ सेटिस्फ्याक्सन कसैको पनि जबमा सेटिस्फ्याक्सन पाइरहनु भएको छैन हामीले रिस्किलिङ र अपस्किलिङको निड एनालाइसिस गरेर चाहिँ उहाँहरूलाई इफ वी आर बिङ एबल टु यु नो गिभ देम अ राइट जब as per their skill, I think it increases the employee satisfaction as well. So how we are doing this? मैले अहिले पनि अघि भर्खर पनि निड एनालाइसिसवाला टर्म युज गरेँ सो निड एनालाइसिस गर्छौँ हामीहरू चाहिँ अन रेगुलर बेसिस यसले चाहिँ कसलाई चाहिँ रिस्किलिङ अपस्किलिङको निड छ कस्तो खालको स्किल्सहरूमा चाहिँ हामीले फोकस गर्नुपर्छ भनेर आइडिया दिन्छ हामीले चाहिँ यसलाई चाहिँ कल्चरमा नै हामीहरूको इन्क्लुड गर्छौँ भनेर मैले भनिहालेँ भिजन मिसन अलाइनमेन्ट इज वान अफ द क्रुसियल प्रोसेस द्याट वी निड टु डु सो कतिपय कम्पनीहरूमा वी वर्क बट वी आर नट अवेर अफ वाट आर द भिजन एन्ड मिसन द्याट वी आर वर्किङ फरवर्ड टु होइन सो यो चिजमा पनि वी विल अल्सो फोकस दिस इन वाइल आइडेन्टिफाइङ आवर केआरएस एन्ड केपिआइस हामीहरूले चाहिँ यो सबै गऱ्यौँ यो स्किलको ट्रेनिङ कसले दिन्छ त भन्दाखेरि हामीहरूको इन्टरनल रिसोर्सेसहरू पनि हामीले आइडेन्टिफाई गर्न सक्छौँ हामीभित्र नै ट्रेनरहरू हुन्छ ट्रेनरहरूलाई पनि ट्रेन गरेर चाहिँ विल बी एबल टु यु नो लाइक वी कुड introduce trainers in our organizations हामीहरूले job rotations गरेर मेरो स्किल्सहरू I mean job rotation could one of the approach अर्को भनेको हामीहरूले one of the thing that we do is we always research हैन so international practicesहरू के छ र if it is applicable भन्यो भने त्यही अनुसारले adaptations could be another thing another thing is delegating responsibilities through top down approach and on-the-job training is our priority. So this was my presentation. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you. We are Halka Ramailo Group 2.
Hi. First of all, brave lady. Out of your own group, you walked in. That's a great confidence and the lovely name, right? That's HR for us. Okay. See, you presented in a your group presented in a very, very structured fashion. That's very good. You know, you presented why, you presented what, and you also presented when we are going to do, right? That's brilliant. You covered you have ticked most of the areas. Possibly one area which you need to think is, you know, it's not important how you train your people. It's also important, how do you know that your training has been effective? What is the way in which you will know that your training has been effective? That's point one. Point two is, if you mentioned that you are in a digital content creator, you have not mentioned what kind of training will actually help you, you know. Digital is something which is evolving, you know, across the world, and it is one of the ways in which people are looking at to create certain competitive advantage. So if you are going to give digital content training and you need creative people, there is likely to be an environment which needs to be created. So your training can't be a classroom kind of a training. Your training can't be you know, you're coming and telling you something. On the job also is there, you said that. But what are the other ways you will look at? Are you going to tell them, hey, look, this is the best digital content creator, go and speak? What are the other ways you can create that? What are the creative ways are you going to gamify the whole experience for a new joiner? So those are some of the aspects which your team could have looked at, but overall a great structure and a great presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Team HR. Halka Ramailo. Really funny way to sort of bring fun in this serious conference. I would agree with what Debashish has already shared. It was a very structured presentation, and it's remarkable that you and your team could come up with this in a very short period of time. Well, Debashish has already shared most of the comments. What I wanted to sort of highlight was that when we talk of need analysis, oftentimes we think of need based on what the person is doing currently. And as the job market is changing, especially after COVID, when people had time to sit home, think, their passion and their interest has changed a lot. So how do we cope up with that? And of course, an organization does have limitation. It doesn't mean that you are going to, banks are not going to produce musicians tomorrow. But still, how do we, as far as possible within the limitation of the organization, how do we tap into that is something we should be thinking of. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Great, great presentation. Okay, thank you so much. एक बार energy के साथ ताली हो जाए. Team Halka Ramailo Private Limited, HR Private Limited. So here we are back. जोरदार तालियां हो जाएं. Mentee girls from my team, Reshma and Shara from Unilever. Can we have the mentee back? And you have got 1 minute to rate the presentation on a scale of 1 to 5 for team Halka Ramailo Private Limited. So yes. So 11 responses have come. Great. So requesting all of you to participate and make it engaging. So I see this trend of scores going up as we are progressing down, because they are getting some advantage of getting some views of the judges and incorporating them in the script. We have 55 responses. I would like you to capture this. And thank you so much. So second team, HR Private Limited, you have your scores, audience poll on the screen. As I go to the next group, this is the last group which will be presenting on the first topic, which is reskilling and upskilling. Post that, there will be a new topic of discussion. So may I now invite on stage the members along with CEO of third group, which is named as Renew View. Zordar taaliyan ho jaye for the group Renew View. Please come.
Thank you so much. Hello again, I'm Jyoti, and along with Dharna, my team member, I'm representing the team Renew View. So I'd like to elaborate on our name, Renew View. So it stands for Renew and Review, which is one of the steps that we think is important in reskilling and upskilling. So we'd like to start with why is it necessary to reskill and upskill. And like Debashish sir mentioned before, we need to do need analysis. We need to identify the gap, why we need to do the thing. And one of those gaps can be talent gaps. So we can see that certain skills are required to perform a job, but the employee might not have those skills. So that's one reason why we will need this. The other reason is maybe we are going for a technological change or some upgrade. So even in these situations, we may need to reskill and upscale. And another thing that I would like to point out is, so when we do this, when we reskill and upscale, what we are also doing is we are involving our employees more, and we are also contributing to their growth, which helps them feel more belongingness towards the company and also increases the retention gap. So these are the things that we identified why we need reskilling and upscaling. And now I talked about talent gap. So how can we bridge this gap? To talk about this, I'd like to hand over the mic to Jharna.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. So the reason why we came with this name, Renew to Review, is we believe there is no age or experience in order to, for us to see life in a different perspective, or even to develop yourself or regain any skill. So this is how we are going to do upscaling and rescaling in our company. So we are going to see how competent our employees are, the one who are doing quite good and are in the middle level, and the one who are already competent. We are going to upskill their skills by providing them training or by providing them on-the-job experiences, because we believe that once any employee, they join the company, they become a family member, and it's our responsibility to see which level our family members are and in what level they are facing difficulty. So as I said, that the middle level and the one who are already competent will be using the upskilling method. The reskilling would be to the one who are not competent, who are doing their basic job, but we feel that they lack sense of acknowledgement, as well as they think that they can do something else and not doing much better in their job, and they are having skill gap. So that would be our flow of managing the upskilling and reskilling. I hope I made sense. But yeah, we want to make sure that the people who feel that they cannot grow further, we can give them some other skill in which they can shine. So that's what we think. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Srijana. So adding more to that, due to limited time, we couldn't discuss on other topics, but we touched on a few more topics or a few more ways in which we can reskill and upskill employees. So the other one we discussed was leadership planning. So we can prepare, in an organization, whatever the leader believes in, whatever his or her value is, that is reflected on the employees as well. So if we have a culture, if we set a tone for reskilling, upscaling, for growth in the organization, then that helps as well. The other thing is succession planning. So we train our employees. However, the knowledge retention from the trainings, as this point came up before, it's very low when we train employees. So what might be the reason for this, we discussed, is that the trainings we give, that might not be on the level where the employee is lacking. So we might give a training for Excel, an advanced course, but the employee might be struggling with the basics itself. So that's where we need to realize the gap. That's one thing. And the other thing is, when we talk about training, we only look at we mostly look at external trainings. Why not on-the-job training? Why not be trained by the colleagues themselves? Yeah. So that's another approach that we discussed. That's most of what we discussed during this time, and thank you everyone for listening.
I really like that you linked the name of the organization with the process itself. Before I say anything, I think it's great to see female CEO and female leadership. So breaking the glass ceiling, kudos. I think in this short span of time, you've been able to manage a lot, to share a lot. There's only one thing that I wanted to add as a learning for all of us is, yes, in today's world, it's very important for the organization to be agile, to cope with the changes and to adapt to the changes. But the ownership of being agile and being more relevant does not lie just with the organization. It also lies with the employees. Because there was I'm sure some of you might have read this. There was a study recently where they said that in the next few years, 50% of the skills that we have are going to be no more relevant. So if we want, as an individual, of course, as an HR, we think of larger employees and all that, but you talked about culture. So developing a culture where people, individuals also think that if I don't take this ownership, if I don't upgrade my skill, I'm going to be no more relevant. So I think that's something we need to iterate and reiterate. Thank you.
Thanks. I think you have said it all. You have not left anything for me. But nevertheless, since this is the last group, I thought possibly I'll give this feedback, not to you, but all the groups. See, one area which you try to touch upon, but kind of you left it within a second, is what is really the difference between reskilling and upskilling? Is it really different, or is it the scale? Is it the same? Or is it just two fancy words which HR has invented just to confuse the whole world? You know, somebody outside our domain will say, hey, look, this is about training, yeah. Why are you confusing upskilling, reskilling, downskilling, upskilling? What is this up and down kind of a thing? But these are two very, very important terms. While it's a jargon in itself, but we need to understand the way it is actually being invented, I should say, in the COVID time. Rather earlier, it was only a kind of competency assessment and training kind of a stuff. We in the sense the HR fraternity thought, let's invent something great. And there was a need for it. So just to kind of clarify, when you say upskilling, you know, we need to be very clear where we want to do upskilling. Because when you want to do upskilling, which is about potential, which is about future, where you are saying that my workforce need to be future ready, that's where upskilling is coming across. For example, you see AI coming in a lot of areas, and you see that a lot of your people are going to be redundant. Now you have a choice. Are you going to do a upskilling or a reskilling? Now that's where this becomes very important, because you usually do an upskilling when you want to go your people from one technology to other technology, one area to new area, you know. But reskilling is generally associated with telling my people, hey, you guys are going redundant, you need to learn something new, otherwise you will not be in the market, you know. So that's where, to a larger extent, companies are using the word reskilling to reskill, to change, to teach their people new skills so that they are relevant in the coming years. So while both of these are by and large the same thing, but it's very important that we as HR folks understand the difference, and possibly you are the only group which tried to bought in a very subtle manner that aspect. I'm very happy about it. Having said that, the other aspect which possibly you would have looked at is the aspect of what kind of training do I do, you know. Like in the first group, we gave this feedback saying 70, 20, 10. It's very fancy thing. See, anything you do in training, it's a cost to you. It's a cost to the organization. So, and at the same time, while it's a cost, it's also a strategic intervention based on the strategy of the organization. Therefore, it's one of the most important aspect or most important piece of HR that we all work with. And those who are in training, they are fortunate enough because their job will never be redundant. They don't have to do reskilling, at least in their jobs, you know, that much I can say. You know, but having said that, the most important point here is to understand that whether I do upskilling, whether I do reskilling, it has to get connected with my strategy of organization. I think that part you try to bring in. Possibly if you explicitly would have mentioned it more, it would have been a great. But nevertheless, great presentation, and I really loved it. Hats off to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Renew View. Can we have the Mentimeter very quickly? And going to the audience for their polls. You have to rate them from a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being lowest, 5 being the highest. Please start the voting. Very quickly, we have 5, 7, 8, and it's growing. We will take 50 votes, and then we will move on to the next topic of discussion with the subsequent groups. So the group which is participating, they can shout out whether they want a 5 or a 4 or a 3. So please. Okay, cut it down. We have got 50. Now, please capture the score. Zordar taliyan ho jaye for all the three groups for the first topic of discussion. Zordar taliyan ho jaye Debashish or Srijana ke liye for such lovely feedback. Judges, zordar taliyan. Yes. Moving on quickly to the fourth group who are coming up with the next topic, which is the topic of discussion and the burning topic of retention of your top talent. We hear the great resignation. So many people are being snatched by the other organizations. Poaching is being done. So what are your interventions as an organization to identify those top talents and retain them? Can we have the fourth group, which is named as Excel Nepal? Can we have the team members of Excel Nepal? Round of applause as we welcome them on stage. Group name is Excel Nepal. And the topic is retaining top talents of your organization during the critical times.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chandrika, and I'm representing Excel Nepal Hospital. We are a healthcare sector. We are a 100-bedded hospital, and we have 1,500 staff in total, out of which 900 are clinical. We are having 100 turnover per month, that is almost 7%, 6.66%, and we want to reduce it to 4% within 3 months. We did a survey on reason of why our our turnover is so high based on our exit interview. And through our exit interview, we came to the conclusion that there are various reasons. And the reasons are lack of job recognition by HOD and the company itself. Next one is individuals have felt that their goal is not aligned to the goal of the organization. Sometimes they might have feelings that company healthcare sector is going towards profit making rather than the patient safety. So the third one is for abroad study and the lack of leave facility for their further study. Next one is better pay and better role in other companies. Next one is they have felt the lack of career ladder. And the last one is because of their relationship with their co-worker and their immediate supervisor. So to find out the strategy to retain the competitive manpower, our HR department, the head of HR, Deepti, is working on it, and she will explain the strategies. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Seeing an employee leave the company is really painful, isn't it? And it is really, really challenging for the organization, especially HR, to retain them. So my team, we discussed, and possibly we found some solutions which could retain the employee. So one of the solution is fair compensation and remuneration system. So what we could do is do a survey or collect data from the relevant industries. And after collecting the data, it really helps you to see where you stand, where your remuneration system is, and where you need to correct. So that could be really helpful because basically everybody wants to earn money and everybody works to meet their financial needs. So another solution is training and development. Most often employees leave because they don't see their growth in the company and they really want to grow in their career. So by giving proper training and development, and not only that, getting a feedback from them is equally important, how effective that training was, right? So another one is establishing a proper employee reward system. Most of the time employees leave the company because they don't feel appreciated. They feel lack of appreciation, you know, they don't feel valued. So by establishing a proper employee reward system, that could really, really help retain the employee. Another is employees often leave the organization for not getting a proper friendly working environment. So we really need to work on that by creating a friendly working environment. Good working environment, employees could, you know, feel that work is a part of home, right? Because we spend 8 hours at least. Okay, so we spend a lot of time in the office. So employees, they require good working environment. Another one is proper appraisal system. Proper and unbiased appraisal system is very, very important. Another one is, which I think is very important, incorporate policies that reflects that They are a crucial part of the organization. By they, I mean the employees. For example, for instance, one policy could be implementing employee welfare family program. For example, तपाईले employee को छोराछोरीको लागि education सम्बन्धी केही प्रोग्राम्सहरू उनीहरूको लागि चाहिँ नि फन्डिङको व्यवस्थाहरू गरिदिनु भयो भने पनि what they feel is मेरो लागि मात्रै हैन कम्पनीले मेरो फ्यामिलीको लागि पनि सोच्दैछ मेरो बच्चाको लागि पनि सोचिरहेको छ so which is very very important how they feel good about working in that company. Okay, thank you so much. I think I'm taking a lot of time. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Team Excel Nepal Hospital. And again, great to see two female coming up here and representing the organization and the team. What I liked was there was a lot of, there seems to have been a lot of discussion in terms of why people are leaving, including the analysis of the exit survey and ways to make sure that there's for people, the retention rate is not high. In terms of, you mentioned about the 7% turnover rate. I know the percentage may differ from industry to industry, what an ideal turnover rate would be. On an average, broadly, we would say that 10 to 12 to 15% turnover is pretty okay. And sometimes it is really sort of turnover is required to bring that new energy and new blood in the organization. So it's a matter of when does the alarm ring? When do we sort of take proactive measures to make sure that now this is a problem? But at the same time, before we even, I mean, this is like aftermath of what happens if we have people leaving, a lot of people leaving, then there's chaos and we start identifying how to retain. But at the same time, I think what we can, and many organizations do practice is, along with exit survey, we do happiness survey, we do staff satisfaction survey, which sort of gives us the signal, what will keep people continue, what makes people come to job every day. So that was one. The other thing was, I think we should, when it comes to retention, we should also think about, do we intend to retain every person that we have? Of course, anytime people leave, there's a cost involved. Cost of replacing the person, cost of institutional memory loss and all that. But some organization would rather focus on retaining the high performers. And they would probably have a list of priority to retain, like mid-level priority and not a priority. And it's okay to do that just so that we can focus our resources, energy on people who are high performers rather than, again, because of the limited resources any organization has, rather than sort of trying to address everybody and everything. So again, it's not a feedback directly to you, but something that we all should be thinking of. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
She has already covered all the points. I just have one point, you know. Whenever we are thinking about retention, one point, like Srijana mentioned, is very critical is at what percentage you should ring the bell. That's one. If your percentage is lower, like 7% you mentioned, it's not an alarm bell. You should see what's the industry average. If the industry average in hospitality is 15%, you should pat your back and say, hey, already you're doing well. Second, any intervention which you're going to do is going to cost you. You know, nothing is free of cost, right? Everything is going to cost you. So therefore, you can't have it all. You know, like you are going with a laundry list, you can't have it all. You need to prioritize that these are the top 3 activities which I will do, you know, to retain my top talent. And again, I'm using the word top talent because if you have a 7% attrition, it does not matter how many, I mean, the numbers will be very few. Therefore, you should concentrate on your top talent. I think that's where the whole thing that you should look at. That's the only feedback I have. Otherwise, a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Excel Nepal. Can we go back to Menti? And we will take top 50 votes. Thank you so much. Yes. So, zordar taliyan ho jaye Excel Nepal ke liye. Going back to the Menti and same Menti code, please start voting for Excel Nepal. Top 50 votes will be considered. Great. 10 votes we have received. Because at the end, there will be two winners. Two groups will be declared as the winners per topic. So there are two topics, two winners. And here we go, 50 votes have been closed. Thank you so much. Coming up next with the same topic are the group number 5. They have called themselves as the retainers. Zordar taliyon se swagat kijiye group number 5, which is the retainers. Can you please quickly come on stage, the CEO and the team members? Yeah, the retainers. So I think there are 3 members, and good to see some diversity, because diversity doesn't mean only females. It also means males. So yes, can we hear it for this team? You've got to introduce your name and then straight hit the presentation.
Good afternoon all. I'm representing myself, Prajwal Kumar Subedi. I'm representing Nobel Bank Limited. Now,
Hi, myself, Bimal Dangi. I'm representing Gold Star.
Gold Star, really? We are the retainers. Namaste. My name is Sheila. Rest of the lyrics you can continue. And we are here representing Retaining Talent International. And we are here to present why retaining talent is necessary, so that all the companies like Excel Nepal just before us can hire us. And we are HR consultant. So can we continue? Okay. Keeping in mind that we have just 5 minutes for the presentation and 15 minutes for the discussion, we were discussing about what is retaining talent and why to retain talent and how can we retain talent. So these 3 areas we will be covering, and we are the retainers. Thank you all the participants. We are all partners. We were all partners. And we come from different sectors. We were from INGOs. We were from, he mentioned Gold Star, and bank, and other NGOs as well. So coming from diversity, we understand HR, and we all were from HR background, so that we found this company. And we discussed that how can we reach out to all the companies out there. So what is retaining talent? It's an honor-safe giving to every single people who are working for the company or organization, keeping the employee, motivating, keep them motivating, and it's an acknowledgement as well, and creating opportunities, and so that, all people who are working there, they don't go out for the opportunities, looking out for the opportunities, and they are all the assets. So this is what retaining talent means. And why? Because it's a culture that we are in building in a company or an organization. It's also about the personal and organizational growth. We will grow together, person and the organization. They go side by side. And it's also very important not to forget not just work, but also the life. It's a balance of work and life. I hope you all agree with that. And financial stability, we were talking, and we were discussing about this financial cost effectiveness, so the stability of that also. And it will also bring growth and opportunities, as we already mentioned. And it's a time management as well, and it's like, making the service better, so that who we are working with will also be satisfied, not just the employee. And it's also about the reputation, recognition of our company. So, satisfying every single clients, staff, that's why it is important. And also it's an engagement, staff engagement, so that we don't have turnovers. And yeah, I just finished. And how can we do that is, I will just ask my friend to shortly just explain this.
Thank you. I would like to focus on the reactive and proactive approach. First of all, कुनै पनि अर्गनाइजेसनमा एउटा स्ट्यान्डर्ड सेट गर्नुपर्छ कि वी हेभ द्याट बेनिफिट्स स्यालेरी छ कि छैन अनि फ्रिन्ज बेनिफिट्सहरू हामीसँग छ कि छैन त्यसपछि लङ टर्म इन्सेन्टिभ्स एन्ड सर्ट टर्म इन्सेन्टिभ्स छ कि छैन सो वी सुड फर्स्ट आइडेन्टिफाई द्याट देन आफ्टर एउटा साइकल हुन्छ वी हेभ टु आइडेन्टिफाई अ साइकल अनबोर्डिङदेखि लिएर एक्जिटसम्म जस्तो रियाक्टिभ एप्रोच भनेको एक्जिट पछि के भयो के को एनालाइसिस भयो त्यो अन द्याट बेसिस गुड डु द्याट तर पहिला इम्प्लोइ आउँदाखेरि हामी वी कुड डु न्यू इम्प्लोइ एक्सपिरियन्स सर्वे सेटिस्फ्याक्सन सर्वे 360 सर्वे यसको आधारमा वाट द न्यू ट्यालेन्ट अर रहिरहेको ट्यालेन्ट वाट दे वान्ट भन्ने कुरा वी कुड आइडेन्टिफाई द्याट देन बेस्ड अन द्याट वी कुड आइडेन्टिफाई ट्यालेन्ट इफ कुनै पनि स्टार पर्फर्मर छ भनेपछि वी कुड गिभ देम रिवार्ड रिकग्निसन स्टार पर्फर्मरलाई हामीले सक्सेसन दिनै पर्छ देन आफ्टर ओन्ली देन वी कुड रिटेन द्याट ट्यालेन्ट त्यसपछि राइजिङ स्टार छ अथवा कोर कन्ट्रिब्युटर हो भने त्यही अनुसार हामीले रिवार्ड र रिकग्निसन दिनुपर्ने हुन्छ देन आफ्टर त्यसपछि इभ्यालुएसन यसको आधारमा इन्क्रिमेन्ट त छँदैछ अनि जहिले पनि हामीहरूले वी हेभ टु डु market research, what is the base salary, market salary that we could identify on that. So based on these factors, we could only retain the really top performer or any employee in the organizations. Without this, without surveys, without anonymous surveys, we can't do that. So basically, exit analysis ko part पनि आयो त्यसपछि reactive approach मा यदि हामीसँग budget छ if we have manpower budget or promotion budget that is identified annually त्यसपछि HR लाई सजिलो पनि हुन्छ कि त्यहाँनेर हामी रिटेन गर्न सक्छौं we could retain instantly so basically close it now okay anyway so in this short time we could wrap up I think
Thanks, great presentation. Just a couple of observations. I'm not putting it as a question to you. But see, whenever you are looking at retention, the first question you need to ask is, what is my problem? And often the problem will not, problems which we see is superficial, surfacial. There are a lot of problems which is beneath the ground. See, we are all HR professionals are ready with the pills, you know. Okay, this is the problem, give him a pill called as retention, using, you know, give him a pill called as salary survey kar lo, there's a salary issue, give him a salary, you know. Then we have a pill ready which is do an employee experience survey and get what are the issues and do something. See, many times I believe, that's my personal belief, a lot of times until unless we as HR folk really know what is the disease, where is the real problem, we should not give a standard solution to it, you know. Our job as HR professional is to innovate, understand and get things done. Like she has mentioned all the areas which are ready-made, you know, which we have, which we know. But what your group could have done is you should have spoken, I mean, I would have loved to hear that look, my top 3 issues are like this, A, B, C in my industry. My strategy of the company is like this. We are a low-cost company. We are a differentiator company. If you're a low-cost company, attrition is happening, no problem. You can replace people with lower cost, you know, always. So training need to be then very, very strong, you know. If retention you wanted to do, yes, you can do it. But if your training system are very, very strong, even if you have an attrition, retention is not a problem for you. I'm just giving an example. So what I'm trying to say is, in your group, what I've not seen is what were the top 3 problems. Against that, what is the solution you are mentioning? See, you will have a lot of, you have given a lot of solutions to the problem, but you have not told me what is the problem. However, the solutions which you have given is very practical and extremely important, and we all should know that, yes, these are some of the good things that we must do. That's my only feedback. However, the presentation, both of you made a great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. In the interest of time and cutting it out over here, thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Going back to the Mentimeter and requesting the audience to please vote for them. Thank you. After this, kindly, group number 6, please line up. Catalyst Private Limited Group, please line up over here as we get the scores for the 5th group. The last group, please line up near to the stage. We will take the first 50 votes and close the poll. Okay, some problem with the screen. We have got 50 votes. Thank you so much. Zordar taaliyan ho jaye. And now we have the last group. The name is Catalyst Private Limited Group. As they come with the presentation for 5 minutes, please adhere to the time. And after that, we will be going for the declaration of winners. And your topic is again retention. Please stick to the time and your name, and you start with the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Arzu Karki, and we are from Catalyst. Before I begin, I would just like to thank all of my team members who contributed to this discussion and to this presentation, because I may just come here and represent. I don't want it to look like it's only my work. Let's get started now. Now, when we talk about retention strategies, I believe before we jump and conclude to what our strategies are going to be, we need to identify the whys and the whos. Now, when we talk about whys, let's say the cost of hiring, cost per hire, is too high for my company. So what is going wrong? What has gone wrong? And where do we need to intervene? We need to look at the why. Or it could be a negative employer branding. We go out to the market, nobody wants to join our company. Why is that so? Is it because, let's say, an HOD's bad review amongst our ex-employees, or something must have gone wrong for us to be rated negatively in any company survey that the market is doing? Now we move on to the who. Who are we trying to retain? As an HR, this probably would not sound politically correct, but attrition, a certain percentage of attrition is healthy, and it is required. We need to let people leave, and we all know the reasons why. So when we talk about who are we trying to retain, then we talk about our high performers or the hypos. Now, we don't have much time to go into how we identify the hypos, but that brings us to our retention strategy. And we have based our retention strategy with, let's say, one broad framework of we need to set our employees for success from the very beginning. So this brings us, and again, from this, we have categorized our strategies into 3 broader fields, starting with the pre-joining connect and recruitment. It is very, very important to give our candidate or our potential employee a very good employee experience, right from the time the HR, or let's even if it's a GA personnel for us, and for most of our companies in Nepal, right from the time that we make a call to a potential candidate, asking for a resume or asking whether they would like to join us, is the time where we set an imprint of what their life cycle at our organization is going to be. Okay, so, oh my God, I've just started and he says closing point, so I'm going to rush very quickly. So when we talk about recruitment, so all that we are trying to say is that our recruitment strategy needs to be very robust. And over here, I know we will talk about CTC and all of that at a later stage, but I'm sorry to say that needs to be determined and very fairly put out there for that employee from the very beginning. Because we all know in the later stages of their employment, it is pretty much impossible to give that employee a 20 or 40 or 50% hike to keep him motivated and to keep him retained in our organization. So if you say that let the employee join in, and during his life cycle, we are going to do a comp-and-ben survey, I'm sorry, that's not going to help, because that employee has already started the journey on the wrong foot. And irrespective of how hard you try to, fix that, it's not going to happen. Okay, sorry. Then secondly, we'll talk about the life cycle of the employee. Now the life cycle means how well can the company groom that individual, or let's say in terms of career advancement, and how does career advancement happen in terms of, let's say, training and development, in terms of the work culture, in terms of job rotation, enrichment, maybe internal mobility. And when in the organization, we will talk about training opportunities, development opportunities, global mobility. But one other thing is what I believe is very important is, do I as an employee wake up in the morning eager to go to office? So I need to be happy to be able to, I mean, okay, today I'm refreshed. I want to go to office. It shouldn't be like, oh, my line manager, he's so moody, he's so this, he's so that. My interpersonal relationships with my manager makes a very huge, huge, huge impact. As it is often said, people do not leave their organizations, people leave their managers. So it is very important for HRs and also the companies to take note of that interpersonal relationships and not base an entire individual's life cycle in the career, just basis the work. And lastly is exit. Very lastly, really closing remarks, sorry. So lastly, on your way out, what we tend to do when an employee is leaving is like, hey, yo to chhodera gaisakyo. ये तो हमारा बंदा नहीं है, बंदी नहीं है, जाने दो इसको. But no. Why? For two reasons. One is, again, word of mouth. That sets a negative impact on the culture. And two, you never know, maybe it is an hypo who is exiting, and maybe we would want them back as a boomerang employee. So that is why, right from the pre-joining to the exit, it is very important. Now, how can we ensure that all of this is in place is by framing the right policies, right recruitment policies, right training and development policies, right exit policies, and finally retention. What determines these policies would be the culture of the organization. And last line, and what determines the policies is the culture of the organization, and what sets the culture of the organization is the input and the values of a senior management team. Is a senior management team, so it all depends us. We need to have the buy-in of the senior management team. Thank you. Oh my God.
So just wait, kudos to them. She actually ran with so much of thoughts. We'll quickly go to Srijana for your final comment, and please be ready with your mentee. You can start voting now while she's making a comment.
Spirit, and it was like fast forward, but you, in a way that we could understand you. And I love the whole cycle process, that it is not just a one-step process. It begins from the time the person, even before the person joins. The other thing was you touched upon hypo in terms of, yes, retention is important for everybody, but maybe we cater to high performers. Yeah, I'll make it short and simple.
Thank you so much, Team Catalyst, and we have already reached to your scores. Thank you so much. We will be closing. Please collect the jury scores, and can we have a dedication while the scores are being calculated? I have something special for you for Team HR. You know, effectiveness of your time and time management. Can I have a bit of suspense music going around as I invite our esteemed panelists? Some suspense music so that some mahal create hoga for the announcement of the winners. And we have some chocolates and some gift hampers which are to be given to the winners. As zordar taliyon se welcome kijiye Debashish and Srijana ka. So, we have the winners, and can we have some music, thoda sa music, to make it even flavorful? Okay. Reskilling and upskilling. Any guesses? Which group has won? Okay. The winner is team. Since it's an HR meet, it had to be Team HR. Zordar taaliyan ho jaye. Can we have please come on stage quickly. We are running short of time. Please come.
The world is yours.
I would request Debashish to please hand over Team HR a small token, kuch meeta ho jaye, for all the winning team. And can we have a group photograph with them? Please, if you can be on the center, please. Go on the center. Please come. Yeah, can we have a group team picture? Zordar taaliyan ho jaye for the winning team. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, lower down the music, please. The next team and the next discussion was on retention. Yeah, I have the panelists with me. Any guesses which team has won? Any guesses? I hear Encel. Encel is not? Excel. Okay. जो टीम जीतने वाली है उनका नाम है, it is unfortunately the award is, okay, I'll not complicate it. The award actually goes to Excel Nepal. Zordar taaliyan ho jaye. Please come on stage. The entire team, please come on stage. Great work done. A very engaging session where we all participated, be it in our narration or be it in judging. So this is the cumulative scores of the audience as well as the panelists. Can we have you all quickly on stage? Kuch meeta ho jaye. So please come on stage, and congratulations, within a short span of time you have done it. And please line up for a group picture. Debashish, if you can go to the center, please. Come. Fantastic. Zordar taaliyan ho jaye. Thank you. This brings us to the end of this session, and I'm sorry I have gone into 10 minutes of the space of the awards ceremony, but I'm handing over the mic to the MC of the event. Thank you so much. Thank you, all the judges, and thank you. Big round of applause for Aniket. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
May I request the commentators to kindly stay back on stage for a bit with us? A formality that we cannot do away with. Thank you so much to the entire panel for this very, very, very interesting and enriching session. And to quickly do away the honors, if I may invite upon stage the chairman of the conference organizing committee, Mr. Mohan Oja, and Madam Executive Director Srijana Sharma. who will be making a presentation of this token of appreciation and gratitude on behalf of us all for this wonderfully woven and very, very enriching session. Let us all applaud and extend our bit of gratitude one more time, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost to Mr. Preetish Aniket. To Mr. Debashish Hait, Head HR Surya Nepal Private Limited, and Madam Srijana Gurung, Human Resource and Organization Development Director, Plant International Nepal, and Mr. Aniket Preetish, Country HR Head, Unilever Nepal Private Limited. Thank you indeed. Thank you so much for all these chocolates, the music, and all the content that we all together could reap from this session. Well, the fun doesn't end here. We have more coming from the afternoon. It's going to be a brief award ceremony that awaits us, and there's a short break between these two sessions. Now, we are giving away 7 various awards at the HR Meet 2022 this year. And then we will also be joined in by prominent leaders from the corporate world shortly, as we're going to begin it right away. And you never know who or which institution or individuals are going home lucky today. And we'll take a brief break, 10 minutes, quick break, tea by the serve, just 1 minute, and then I'll let you go. Let's bring in our tea and coffee because the stage is already set, and we will be beginning with the award ceremony right away. And it's not going to be a long ceremony, brief but very, very important. And this is an initiative of Growth Sellers.